In this topic, we discuss arranging a meeting from a chair point of view, as well as the conducting of a meeting. When arranging a meeting, some physical elements must be prepared for the meeting. Arranging the venue, including refreshments, media, equipment needed, etc., the printing of information to be distributed, notice of the meeting must be prepared and sent out, minutes of the previous meeting must be sent out. When arranging a venue, there's a couple of things that need to be considered. The location, is it suitable for participants? The environmental aspects, sufficient space, adequate ventilation, and lighting. And then lastly, is there suitable media? Secretaries are usually responsible for the arranging of a venue. However, as chair, it is important to ensure that the room is well organized and suited for the meeting. As chair, you should communicate your requirements when the instruction for the meeting is given. The venue, location, media, that's all needed to know or how you're going to chair the meeting. The seating arrangements are also important to ensure meeting with the type of meeting. For instance, a discussion meeting may use a circle arrangement to engage in discussion. A presentation meeting might best suit a U-shape, and a board meeting a conference-style setup. Ensure that all media and or equipment is in good working order before the meeting. Notice of the meeting is a communication about the meeting. It is there to inform members of the meeting and invite possible members. It shows the purpose of the meeting, the date, venue, and invitees of the meeting. Today is sent as a calendar request through email communication software. Choosing of the time should take availability of members that should attend into consideration. Arranging a meeting around members' schedules and your own increases attendance and participation. An agenda being a program document and or schedule of the activities that will be discussed during the meeting. It reflects the purpose and activities to be covered in the meeting. It is usually sent ahead of a meeting. In most cases today, also serves as the notice of meeting. It confirms the time, date, duration, and place of the meeting. It should give members enough information to properly prepare for discussions and or intended sharing of information during the meeting. The name of the meeting, for example, sales meeting, annual general meeting, safety meeting, notification of the time and date, to be present, the core group required for the meeting, apologies for absence, minutes of the last meeting, matters arising, routine business, non-routine items, any other business, the date, time, and place of the next meeting. Minutes of the record of the discussions that took place, actions to be taken, and decisions made. It provides attendees with a clear and accurate transcription of a meeting discussion. Every meeting in an organization must have minutes, and each minutes of a meeting must be documented in a minute book, which is a log of minutes for those specific meetings. Keeping score of these minutes benefits to provide a clear, more accurate communication, acknowledge individual contributions, provide historical information of happenings, and show evidence of the process used. A motion is a suggestion or proposal that is put to the vote at a meeting. Procedures to raise a motion is as follows. The member that wishes to raise the motion must first receive permission from the chairperson to speak, then states the motion, then supports the motion by giving reasons for the proposal, and finally concludes with the final proposal. The chairperson will then ask for a seconder to motion, who is a person who agrees with the proposal. The agreeing member raises their hand in agreeance with the motion granted. Should there be a discussion and or opposer to the motion, participants must follow normal procedures to speak. A vote is then taken on the motion, which could be in the form of showing of hands, a yes or no vote, or a paper vote. The chairperson then gives the verdict of the vote gathered. Types of meeting minutes. Verbatim minutes are a word-for-word recording of everything said in a meeting. These are used in inquiries, such as taking a statement in an accident, inquiry, or during a disciplinary hearing. Narrative minutes give a fuller account of the meeting in that they include discussion leading up to a decision. Resolution decision minutes should record the decision taken at the meeting. Summary minutes record only the main points that participants made during a meeting. Summary minutes are effective because they remind participants of the topics covered without the unnecessary details of the conversation. Action minutes are used to ensure that members of the meeting are reminded of the actions that they have volunteered to take or that they have been delegated to them. They often include the time frame in which the required tasks need to be carried out. Guidelines for writing and keeping minutes. They must be clear. They must maintain numbering to maximize ease of reference. Follow agenda items and sequence when drafting minutes. Stick to one tense while recording minutes. Resolutions must be clearly marked. Draft minutes must be circulated to participants, especially for proofreading. This helps the meeting to save time on correcting minutes. Updated minutes are adopted in the next meeting. Adopted minutes must be kept in a minute book and filed indefinitely for future reference. Resolutions must be extracted and filed in a resolution file for ease of reference. Distribution of the minutes should take place within 48 hours of the meeting. This because it is still fresh on the members' minds and assists in timely action being taken where necessary. Minutes are distributed to all members, including the apologies. Reports and other documents are appended to the minutes if necessary. The participation during meetings is a process that follows accepted conventional procedures with a chair and a set of rules during formal meetings. Oral communication skills are essential in this process. Basic terminology and procedures of formal meetings must be used during the addressing of a meeting. For instance, are there any apologies rather than are there any absentees? Furthermore, hands are raised as a gesture for permission to speak, and the chairperson is addressed as Mr. or Madam Chairperson. Nobody can address the meeting but the chairperson, unless such person has been granted permission to do so. Oral communication can be improved by following general meeting etiquette, like no interrupting when someone is speaking, avoiding making side comments and or whispering to the person next to you, being pleasant, tactful, polite, and respectful towards other opinions, ensuring to criticize the proposal idea and not the person. Some points to remember for effective communication during formal meetings. Make your points clear, succinctly, and positively. Listen carefully so that you have a clear understanding of the issues. In this way, you can pose well-formulated questions and make valuable comments. Remain silent when you have nothing useful to say. Items on the agenda must be strictly followed. If any other discussion point needs to be raised, which is not on the agenda, then permission must first be obtained from the chairperson on the section General Matters. Decision making during meetings is reaching agreement can be done in two ways, either a majority vote. Majority vote is a voting system as discussed earlier, where all members get to vote yes or no through a raise of hands or writing down on a piece of paper, which can also be done anonymously and then counted by the chairperson and the verdict given. Or consensus. Decision making is a method which involves members discussing an issue for as long as necessary until everyone is in agreement. In facilitating consensus, the following steps should be taken to keep focus on the objective. Describe and define the problem so that it is clear to everyone. Brainstorm ideas. Discuss the pros and cons of each possibility. Decide what approach to follow. Identify what needs to happen next. Agree on who will do what, where, when, and how, and check how realistic and achievable the goals are. Meeting closure is essential in order for members to leave the meeting feeling accomplished rather than half finished. A good closure is as good as finalizing aspects that need to be achieved after the meeting. Members will understand, information shared, and decisions made. Ending meetings on the scheduled times shows diligence and effectiveness or efficient use of time. When closing a meeting, prepare the participants, summarize the main topics, announce any additional meetings, and express appreciation. Start the closing process just before the scheduled end time of the meeting, leaving just enough time to move through all the above areas before officially adjourning the meeting. We can conclude that conducting of meetings has the following 5 elements as identified by Karen Anderson, making meetings work. Greeting, welcoming participants when they arrive. Opening, this includes introducing people, etc. Delivery, this is how you present the content or concern or how you organize the task. Closing, this involves summarizing decisions, listing recommendations, creating actions, assigning tasks, and setting deadlines. And then feedback, this is how the meeting is recorded and an evaluation of the progress of the items identified in the closing. And that's a wrap on our topic of arranging and conducting a meeting from a chairperson's point of view. A chairperson must communicate requirements for the meeting to the secretary, that the location, environment, and media is suitable for participants. They should ensure that minutes are accurate and meaningful, that the agenda is followed during a meeting, use general procedures during the meeting, put motions to majority vote or consensus if necessary, close meetings timeously and correctly to ensure that participants are prepared and ready to perform.